to the Rav on page Shin Pei Aleph, and we'll read the Tiv on this. Tov Kuf Kuf Tes. Tov Kuf Tes. Tov Kuf Kuf. Where is that? Tov Kuf Tet. There we go. So he says, "Va'acha shegavanta b'mocha the yanika sheyesh l'zer anpen shehepa b'chinas ruach the katnus." Okay, so he says what? He says the mocha the yanika or ruach the katna. Katnus is yanika. V'achakach the kavan al shem ekya bin milu yudin, and he shows it what it looks like. She'ekya bin milu yudin romiz al sod ivur. It refers to ivur hasheni the zera. And we'll see that in a minute. The goddess is the time when it gets to Shehem the Shama Chai Yechida, which is the goddess of those three elements of Bina, Chochma, and Keser. And now that you have now all the mochin of godless into Zer Anpin. As the Kavanot B'Shloshos Hashemas and Niskarim Ashenisker Le'el. Shehem Akya Rishon who mochin the Eva Rishon and Nikra Nefesh. So I read to get through this, and it is a B'Shem Ravaya who mochin the Yanika HaNikra Ruach. B'Shem Akya Hasheni who mochin the godless and Nikra B'Shem Echem Chai Yechida HaNikra Neshama Chai Yechida. Sorry. Ekya Ravaya Ekya. So now you have these are representations of the three levels. Iver Yanika, Mochin the godless. Kashahem Peshuta B'li Milui, and you see them when they're simpler, just simple, the basic fact, Dehem Ole Begematria Misperchaim. So this wants to say that this is a concept of now bringing these three together into the life force itself. I guess it's represented by the tefillin. Let's try to understand, or maybe the life inside of the tefillin. I'm not sure. It's an because it brings life to a man. Because they come from Zer Anpin, Shehem Achayim Shal Zer Anpin HaNikra Melech. Become Elu Shemas HaMochim Shehem Ekya Havaya Ekya. Haim Olin Begematria Sach 6668 Kenizker Mitzbar, which is the same gematria as Bina Imakolo. Now over here in this one, I didn't see that he had this really fancy language of exactly what part of Bina it comes from, that extension. He says Kadei Horos Bezosha Kol Elo Hamochim Nimshachim Min Habina El Zer Anpin, because that's the origin. And the Shlosha Shemas Chodadok Merazim al Meramzim al, and there's nothing there. Al, I guess, Kof Aleph Eskaros. Shahare Shem Ekya Harisham Ola Begematria Kof Aleph. V'chein Kum Meramz al Kof Aleph Eskaros Shabbat Tefillin. So therefore, that's the reason why you have Ekya first. V'shem Avaya. Sheish Bo Arba Osios. Umaramaz al arba parshios. So that's the parshios. Shem ekya hasheni sheyesh bel arba osios kumaramaz al arba abantim the tefillin shel rosh. So now he said va'achakach. Now they have these three v'achak the kavanot b'shtei chavanot b'yachad and put them together. Now what is that? And then we're going to have to Mitzvah Hashem will review the hand tefillin again, and we'll come back to yabak tefillin shel yad. Shem ekya havaya adni. So it's very similar to that. Here we have Ekya Havaya Ekya. Here's Ekya Havaya Adni. The common the Sarfam, and so the idea now you have to put them together. The Chavlam Yachad in Sach Shal Tefillin Shal Rosh, and put them together. That is the tefillin of Rosh, which is the 68. Shehem Ekya Havaya Ekya. The Nimsa Ki Kashemit Sarfam, the number 68, which is Havaya Ekya Havaya. The tefillin shall rosh im yabok, the tefillin shall yad, which is ekya havaya adni, heim olem biyacha begematrim misbar kuf pei. So what do you get out of kuf pei? What is kuf pei? Kuf pei ha'elu shem sach v'yabok. Put those two together, and what do you have? Heim gematria kemisbar shlosha havaya b'milui av sag uma. Okay, so that's all of that coming together. And let's look over to Rashash and let's see if we can make our way through the Rashash now. So now that he's shown us the in the Rashi and the Rabbeinu Tam, the Mochin, each according to each, and how the Meshula, the Havaya, that is the Yako and the Aki, we put them all together. Let's start just really quickly a little bit at the beginning. He says, first of all, you have Unika, which is exactly the same between Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam. Then you have, excuse me, that's Ivor, my mistake, which is, okay, wait for that comeback. He is coming back. Okay, you're back. So let me start. The government said it all backwards anyway. So first you have the milui of Yudin of the name Akia. And that refers to the stage of just the beginning of conception. I guess of conception. The conception has to be this extension of the name Akia. Then you go to Mochin, and then the Mochin come out to be only three letters, but in milui form is Yako and Aki in the four different combinations that represent the Rosh, the Toch, and the Sof. So he says, which is Asmab, and also Aki, and with an Aleph, Yud with an Aleph and a Hey. Then you go down to Bechina Vav, so that is the Kavanot, as you're putting on the tefillin of these mochin and coming into being finally in Bechina Vav, which is Eber base, which is the great mochin are coming in, and that represents the batim. Moving on, he says, he says they have to have that in mind now. So in other words, this is their development, and now the light, along with the Kutza de Sa'ari of Erikanpen, are forcing this out of the forehead. Gimel Shemas Ekia Baya Ekia, which we just saw in the Tefillin Shal Rosh. So here they are, Ekia Baya Ekia, and that the Rabbeinu Tam, which we saw this, and I know there's a lot more to be said about this in that little blurb of Reb Yaakov Cronenberg, who wrote me, incidentally, just parenthetically at just now. He says, and I haven't heard from him in 3 years or 4 years, I don't know. So he says, Ekya Yakako. So I see that in the Siddur itself, that the way that I'm pronouncing this is not the way that it appears in the Siddur for the month of Iyar. So I don't remember exactly how it is, but it's not vocalized the way that I'm doing it. He says Ekya, and this is, of course, the Rabbeinu Tam has a different version of the Havaya. So he said L'chaber Mizbar Chaim. So this causes, all of these are the gematria of the word Chaim. So he says this word Chaim. He says the Chaim the Rosh im Mizbar Yabak the Yad gematria Asam. It comes from the gematria of Av Sag Uma. Comes to the same gematria. So he says what do we got here? Is it Ekya Havaya Ekya? Ekya Havaya Ekya, according to Rabbeinu Tam, it's different. Ekya Havaya Adni, that's Yabuk. Ekya Havaya Adni. Everything is the same in gematria. The difference is that, as it said in that little blurb on it is the way to understand this is that, what did he say? He says that the first Hey, the Yud K, refers to Malchus, and the second K refers to Bina. So it's the relationship between Malchus and Chochmah, and the relationship between Bina and Zer Anpin. That's mother, father, what is it right? Mother, daughter, father, son, or I got that wrong. No, it's father, daughter, mother, son. Okay, anyway, that's a little blur from that. And he said, Ya'alo Gematria Asam. It comes to this Gematria of this number, which is 160. Let me see if I got that right. This is 130, 170. This is 170. And here they are together. He says, here's one according to Rashi, and the other one according to Rabbeinu Tam. So then we'll go over here and we'll move it along, and that can be all looked at, thought about, and prepared before you as you're putting on tefillin. So now trying to understand this. he goes the flow chart. So this is a flow chart in the next 3 pages. So the flow chart starts like this. He says, Nai the Hitzonius, the Tzilus. It's the most farther out part in the Tzilus. He says, Lahafrev, and you're going to bring these Oros, which is Keser, Chochma, Bina, Das, and then you have Chesed, Tiferes, and Gevura. Just like that, it's a Chabad Chaganai with a Keser on the top. So he says, Lahafrish, Hakalim, the Hitzonius, Nai, the Tzilus. And then Lahamshek Bechem Mochin, the Holomos. Again, I don't know this word Olomos, what it actually means, but I guess he means from the higher levels, hidden levels, along with their lights, which are the Naranchi. The Naranchi is a complete set of very big-time lights. The Chaya de Tzilus, from the level of Chaya de Tzilus, that's what you're going to bring out. Those are the level of those lights. And then that's going to go, that light is going to go to the Zion Elyonis, the Hitzonius, the Bria. It's going to go to the very, the same direction, but in the Zion Rishonos of Bria. So the Hafrid Hakalim Hitzonis the Zion Elyonis the Bria. So what are the Zion Elyonis the Bria? Well, in his way it would be Kochav Chagat, Kachbad Chabad. That would be it. Laham Shech Bechem Mochim the Olomos in the Ranki, the Desham the Bria. So they're going to bring what? Or the Mochim of the from. I guess, again, we had this word, the Olomos, in the Ranki, the Deshama. So these are the lights that are going to go there. So they're going to come down to, again, it's going to be Kachbad Chagat. So then coming back to the next one, now this is where it changes, and I don't have a reason why it changes. He says, is there a Zion, and then it goes from there to the Zion Elyonis, the Penimius, the Kitzonius, the Yetzirah. Instead of the Kitzonius of the Yetzirah, it's going to go into the Penimius of the Kitzonius of the Yetzirah. So that's the direction. So he said, Lahafred Akalim and Penimius, the Kitzonius of Zion Elyonis, the Yetzirah, going over there again. So we're going to hit the top part of Yetzirah. So he didn't mention anything here about the fact that if it went for the Zion Elyonos, so that if it went for the Zion Elyonos to the it has to go through the Nai. If it goes through the Kachbad Chagat, it has to go through the Nai of the Lofit part also, I believe, in order to be able to get to the Penimius of the Getzonis Yetzirah. So that was in Bria. So you have to go through the bottom of Bria in order to be able to get to the top part of Yetzirah. But at the same token, he's going to the Penimius of it, not the Kitzonius, and this is for the purpose. That's what it does. It separates the Kali from that place. Let's see if we can't get through this. This is the flow chart. Ba'yidei Maisa Mitzvos of Tefillin. So now you're put on the Tefillin. Yekabel lahamshech mochen Penimium, the Chochmos of Binas, Uvok, Malchios, the Tzadi, the Tzalmei, Mochin. So in other words, you're really bringing it into Zer Anpin. Now maybe the whole point up above was a formation of it. Now you're actually bringing the Mochin, the Abba Ve'ima Ve'yasav in the Ranki, the Ruach Shebachem. Now he says the Ranki of the Ruach. So the Ruach is really what's headed for Zer Anpin. Not sure exactly why it said Ruach, so let's go on. Chachmas, the Tzadi, the Abba Ve'ima Ve'yasav. So this is the Chochmos, this is what they look like. And you have all of them there. So this is the Chochmos of the Tzadi, the Abba Ve'ima Ve'yasas. And so now you see the panoply of the Mochi, and the Oros rather. And then it comes, then you're going to bring the Chochmos in. This is actually what's coming in, all of the Chochmos, and then it's going to come into the Binos. Now they look physically exactly the same. And then the Kavanot is that you're going to go to the Vok of the Tzadi, the Abba Ve'ima Ve'yasa. So you're going to go to the Vok of that. Now what is this? This is all coming into the Yesod of, going into the law. Yeah, ultimately into the Yesod of these two partsufim. First is, let me say it again, the Chachmos of the Tzadi, the Abba Ve'ima Ve'yasas. Then you're going to go to the Binos of the Tzadi, the Abba Ve'ima Ve'yasas. Then you're going to go to the Vok, which is going to be, which is going to be represent Zer Anpin, and then you're going to go to the Malchus, the Tzadi, the Abba V'Iba, and this is the whole Kavanah. They bring the whole thing, all of these Oros, into ultimately the Tzadi, and he's saying that you could break the Tzadi up, you're saying you could break the Tzadi up. So you bring the Tzadi in, but the Tzadi has a Rosh Toch Sof. So the Tzadi is a Chochmah. It represents the Binos and the Vok, and ultimately going into Malchus. And he says, here's what we have to learn. He says, L'nai the Ma'u Ben. So it has to go into the very bottom of the Ma'u Ben of both sides. The Partzufi Kachbad. This Partzuf, here we go. The Rabbiya de Zah. So the Kachbad refers to the Rosh. I'm assuming of all of the four Olamos of Zer Anpin, the Rabbiya, the Kitzonius, the Ratzilus, and it comes out of the most outside part. So reading it backwards, so it's the Kitzonius, the Ratzilus. It's the Abiyah, all of those four worlds that have to do with it, and stringing this together. But it's not just that; it's the Abiyah of the Abiyah, the Zer Anpin. Which Zer Anpin? The Zer Anpin, the Rabbiya, which is the Kachbad of that Abiyah. So all of that is got to be worked on, but that's this idea, and that's I guess that's the shir for today, because tomorrow we'll pick up the Sifra Tzniut and finish that off, and then in Mitzvah Shem we'll have a chance to come back and look at these three pieces, which is the Kavanot, the Tefillin, and then the Ritzua, and coming back again, once again, to the Tefillin Shel Rosh, just to have it a little bit more usable. That's it. This is Baruch Fleischman.